I mean, I sent them hundreds of millions of dollars, so they should really be happy. This office is one of the largest holders of the floating rate fund in the country.
So, all right, so you mentioned it's paying a 9.3% yield. I also noticed that year to date it's up 5.52.
So I think it's going to make 10 to 11% because it's trading at a discount.
Okay.
So you'll make 10.
What are the times when you do recommend managed accounts?
If there's smaller accounts that I'm not going to look at.
25, 50,000.
Well, yeah, 25 to 200,000. Schwab is owned by China. China's Communist Party owns Schwab. When I put money in managed accounts, I'll put it in with somebody like Horizon that's tactically managed. They do an all right job with it, and I can always move it. What I like about it is I can move it from, like, if I don't like Horizon's performance, I think we're going to have some other products coming down the pipe. I do like some of Franklin Templeton's investment choices in the managed account portfolio, and I'll keep the other 250 in retail with floating rate.
They'll have a total of 7. Still a $25,000 minimum, but you can have 5,000 in 5 different ones.
Yes, really? Yeah. Invesco, they have great value portfolios. They like Comstock, growth and income, and dividend, diversified dividends. It's never been a great performer. But Comstock has been a great fund for a long time. And they have some good mid-cap growth. They have some pretty good, like American Franchise, that's a great fund. So they have some good funds in there. But it seems like any fund that has a stock dividend portfolio has never done as well.
With Invesco.
Yeah.
They do good on growth, but not on dividends.
Whereas the guys over at Franklin Templeton, they have a dividend portfolio that has done really well. That has done probably as well or better, about as well as Meter. I mean, as what's the other one? Genter. Or is he Genter? Matter of fact, I think it's done better than Genter. So I've been happy with when I look at the portfolios and the managed accounts with Franklin Templeton's choices because they have a lot of good ones. Where do you put most of the money? I said Horizon, Genter, and Franklin Templeton.
Yep.
Invesco was not on the list.
Nope.
Yeah, because I have a little bit of Invesco, but they only had like 3 choices. They flew me out to go see all these people. They flew me to go see stage people who were in Texas. I thought for sure I was going to mix with them. No. And then same thing. They flew me up to see Meter. I've met the Meter president many times. He saved me on boat trips. He's done all kinds of stuff.
You just don't like Meter? It's a lot of fear book.
Not only they're great people.
Yeah.
That's the thing I like. Yeah, it's bad when you like people, right?
Oh, AGF. You also like
AGF. But I like Meter people, and I like the story because Meter has a similar background to Primerica. Okay, and the guy, and so it's a good story, but they're basically when you buy a Meter managed portfolio, you're buying their mutual. See, they have their own mutual funds.
In-house
they
funds.
package into a managed account.
Which the good thing about that is you save charges on buying.
Yeah, but they have done they've done mediocre.
Yeah.
And so that one of the things that I have to justify when I put my clients in managed accounts is the fees. I gotta say, okay, if this client's gonna pay a point a year, then it's gotta be worth it, right? And so that means you gotta have a pretty good return, underlying performance, so I can justify my client paying that point. Okay. Same reason I've approached the home office about when we offer, like one of the fund choices we have is, who is it that does this? Western Asset or somebody that offers a laddered municipal bond portfolio, which is pretty good. It's laddered so that you have both short-term and long-term municipal bonds in it, and they don't keep them staggered. Okay. Well, the problem with that is, historically, municipal bonds make 4.5%. Well, if you got a 1% fee on top of that, you're giving away a quarter of the return.
Yeah, that's right.
So I've suggested to the home office that we can offer, when we do fixed income managed accounts, we should be able to cut the fee we charge in half.
That's a good idea.
They only charge a half a point or 3/4 of a point, as opposed to a point or point and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Invesco ETFs, I kind of wanted to get into the QQQ. QQQ's up 37 this year, 37%.
And it'd be nice if we could offer QQQ and get some QQQ in one of the portfolios.
We can.
We can.
Invesco ETFs are going to be available.
Wow.
On the lifetime.
But I use them. And see, they don't have just QQQ.
No, there's a lot.
They have QQM or QQL.
There's almost an ETF that matches every mutual fund.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So they have some really good choices in there.
Kevin O'Leary said something about that. I was watching that on LinkedIn. He's got a neat little thing on LinkedIn. But he gives all his new products 36 months. And if it doesn't show any traction in 30 days or 30 months, no, not even 36. He gives it 36. So at the 30-month window, if it's met or exceeded, he goes full 36.
Everybody, I'm Jordan Brown, Senior Vice President and Head of the Lifetime Investment Program here at the Home Office. See, wealthy people don't chase things. I'm not a short-term speculator, are you? Maybe you are. If you are, you're the wrong client for me. I want to be a long-term investor. I don't gamble. I'm not a gambler. I'm not a short-term speculator. I'm a long-term investor, and I'm not chasing the last quarter's results, and I'm not trying to do a transaction so I can have a good quarter. I want to have a good quarter century, and I want to manage money not just for their lifetime, but for lifetimes. We need to put an S on the end of that, Jordan, because this truly is a business where we're going to create wealth for generations to come. And yes, we are attracting a lot of money, but it didn't happen by accident. In order for things to get better, I realized that I had to get better. In order for your business to get better, you got to get better. See, there's a value gap out there that you need to create. This is what people know out there, and this is what you know. And the greater the gap is between what you know and what they know, creates the value for you. And usually that value comes out when you have things like this, where we have volatility. Managed money is going to allow people to manage their money through their lifetime. And like I said, for generations. But when you're younger, like my sons, they have more of a strategic approach. It's a buy and sell. And I'm not taking anything away from you Series 6 and 65 or 63 licensed people, but getting people wealthy is easy. It really is. Get them started like I was for $25 a month. Actually, I didn't have $25. They started me for $1 a day. And you can just get people started, and all of a sudden, one day they will become wealthy. That's the accumulation stage. You dollar cost average it. You get yourself into a diversified portfolio of funds, and you strategic, just let it sit, and that's fine. And that works great. But there's a lot of people that build up their assets, and they want you to protect their assets, no pun intended, which means they're starting to move into the preservation stage. And please don't play Russian roulette with your people's hard-earned money. They need managers, maybe not you, but maybe they do, who are instructed, we don't want catastrophic losses. We don't want our money to go to zero. We can't afford a 50% drop. We still want to take the upside potential. The markets go up 20. We want to capture as much of that 20% as we can. But preservation/accumulation says we need you to spend as much time managing our risk as you do our rewards. So managed money allows you to do that. It's daily active management. During the middle of the day, those managers could make decisions on your client's behalf on whether to go short-term treasuries versus long-term treasuries. We don't have to call a client and ask for their permission, which is what you do in normal mutual funds. These are a lot more fluid. You could use multiple fund managers. And the bottom line is, a lot of you say out there, well, did you make more money selling managed? You actually don't make any money selling managed. You make money selling lifetime relationships because you don't get paid anything up front, do you? In a mutual fund, you get paid up front. In a variable annuity, you get paid up front. In a managed account, you're betting your long-term relationship for you to help people through good and bad. And this is the time you capture market share. Number one, most advisors are getting old and wore out. They don't have business models like we do. They just want out. And there's very few advisors out there to help people. And I'm talking about even the wealthy people need help more so today than ever. So I want you guys to know that managed money is there. That's the future, because we help people in the beginning stages to accumulate wealth. We help people get ready for retirement by having some mechanisms around it to control volatility. So you can't control that portfolio to someone who puts all their money in American Funds Growth Fund. You don't understand managed money if you're doing that. It's the risk that you're taking to get the rewards that you want. And what most people want today is solid single-digit returns. They want the boringest roller coaster they could get, but they know they can't put money away at 4%, have inflation run at 7%, and then have to pay tax on that 4% sooner or later. They know that they can't do that. But what they do need is they need someone to manage their money and not swing for the fences and try to hit home runs like so many people do. So not just in Primerica, but out there. Let's chase the NASDAQ. Let's go chase a technology company. I told people you can't compare that return to managed money. They're totally different creatures. And guess what happened to the NASDAQ here that last year? So what I'm saying is, bottom line is, you guys, you should have a conviction first before you offer it to anyone else. And how do you know if you're convicted? When you actually do business with yourself. If you can't sell yourself, who can you sell? So Primerica knows that I put my money where my mouth is. I believe in the managed money concept. That's where the majority of my money is at. And I promise you, I feel so much better when we have volatility, that I don't have to freak out, that I know how to manage my cash needs. I know how to manage my investment needs in that 1 to 3 year bucket or 3 to 5 year bucket. And I have a financial independence bucket, which is all screwed up now because I'll never spend that money because this company has provided an income stream that's so ridiculous I'll never have to spend that money. So I have to deal with the last stage, which is income distribution and also legacy planning. Is how do we pass this from one generation to the other? You guys, if you're not talking that way or you're not thinking that way, then you're just like all the rest of the people. They're just trying to sell business. Well, I have a couple minutes with you. Let me tell you why I'm still in this business. The reason I'm still in the business isn't just because my kids are here. They're really sharp, okay? But what I'm saying is that's part of the reason, but the biggest reason, which some of you might have forgotten, you old timers, is the crusade, the cause. The fact that the consumer is getting screwed over every single day. And if you and I don't go do this and help them and use products like managed money, and I'm not saying that there's not a place for mutual funds or there's not a place for variable annuities. We use variable annuities in limited space as much as we possibly can. We're trying to limit expenses, and there's a sleeve for that for people that want that. But we try to avoid expenses, and we try to avoid tying people's monies up. And we try to avoid the front end charges and the rear end charges and the hidden charges and the lack of transparency. And what we want to do is to show people that we have a product here that will get you through accumulation, that will get you through preservation, that will get you through distribution. And it's going to build you a business like I got when you're all done with this business. And I'm not selling my business, so don't ask to buy it, okay? I got a great business model. And you know why? Because I have almost 7 figures coming in before I get out of bed, because I help people by not making money off of them first. And now I could give them advice and tell them to go from this fund family or this strategy to that strategy and not have to worry about making another commission or keeping it in one fund family. If I had what you guys had 40 years ago, I'm just telling you, our business model right now, we'd be making tens of millions of dollars a year, wouldn't we, Jordan? I don't calculate money. I don't know how we get paid. I've never looked at a paycheck in 40 years, but I could promise you, if I had what you have right now 40 years ago and did exactly what I did, saw the same number of people, same people told me no, first year everyone saying no, and not having any success early on, and just finally going through what I went through, our income would be tens of millions of dollars a year. That's how big this thing is. Let me just leave you really quick, and I promise I'll be done with this, Jordan. I'm sorry. You asked me to give them a little bit of information from the field. They need to hear this. Is this. One of the reasons I told you I'm still here, kids, that's one of them. Legacy planning, we can go down the road, but it's the crusade. See, I was just talking to a person that just sold his lawn care business for a pretty good penny in Chicago. Never met the person. We were actually doing an end of term for some of you old time people. Managed money works so good with end of terms. These people have been a client of ours for 20 years. Many of them in the Chicago office, for whatever reason, didn't ever get an investment. So they don't have any investments with us. So 20 years later, all our people say, well, I just need to convert their term insurance over. You guys are thinking so small. That's not what those clients need. Those clients need a full financial picture so that they can look at every area of their finances. And guess what they need now 20 years later when their term is up? They need retirement readiness. They need someone to look at their total picture. Well, this person, we didn't get to soon enough. And what we found out is you just got done dumping $140,000 into a single premium whole life insurance policy, and it bought him a $500,000 policy. He didn't need the insurance, by the way. He already had a lot with us and a lot with another company, but they sold him a single premium policy. Just did it not too long ago. Guess what the cash value is worth right now if he cashes in? $80,000. Put in 140, it's worth 80. And if he dies tomorrow, what does his wife get? Doesn't even get the 80,000, just gets the 500. See, that pisses me off. Doesn't that piss you off? And they started getting mad. See, I want to get people mad, don't you? You get paid to educate, disturb, create a friendship. And if you would use the managed money to sit down with people and show them that, here's the ironic thing, and I promise I'll wrap up with this. One of these accounts, by the way, 80% of this person's retirement was all put into fixed index annuities. With such huge surrender charges and the whole life policy, they're just totally, they can't get out. And I'm saying there was one little piece that they did, and it's called TD Ameritrade Institutional. So the person actually had a managed license, and they put something like 80,000 in that account. It's an IRA, by the way. They're not even taking distribution. 100% of the money, Jordan, has been in one-year treasuries for like the last 5 years. That's an IRA. See, that's what you guys need to understand about manage. It's about allocation. It's not about ETFs. It's not about stocks, not about bonds. It's about the asset allocation and what mix that you use in order to control your outcomes and minimize the risk so you can keep those people on that roller coaster ride. I hope that gives you some information, especially young people. You're worth tens of millions a year when you are approaching retirement, as opposed to us. We only get to settle on $2 or $3 million a year. You guys have a business model so much better. Follow what Jordan's doing. I know sometimes we disagree, Jordan, but we both know our commonality is we want to create the best financial services company in North America. We are the Amazon of financial services, but we ain't no toll-free number. Okay, we actually make house calls. We deal with individuals. We just don't ship things from one place to the other. This is a business-to-business, kneecap-to-kneecap relationship, and we're not here just for the next quarter. We're here for the next quarter century. Thank you so much, Jordan.
Thank you, Gordy. I always love your insight and enthusiasm for the program and appreciate all the advocacy you give for us.